I was thinking that the next thing I had to do was to make these side spacers for the knife, but actually I need to have the spacers go in that are going to hold the knife guard away from this back panel. And if you look at this original one, you can see how it's built up thicker here, so that guard will clear on this side. So there's two panels, one that's here and it will end up tapering down, and then another one that will taper down. If you'll notice how this one's made from the side here, you notice that it gets thinner as it goes down. So that's what we're going to do. So I've cut out a small piece of leather here that's fairly thick, and I'm just marking from this template the size of these two pieces, and I'm going to cut them to the approximate size, and then we'll skive them down and then cut it exactly once it's skived down. There's the first piece. And there's the second piece. Next thing I'll do is get out the skiving tool and we'll taper this piece down. Before I start skiving down this to taper it in the shape, I wanted to show you why I picked this thickness of leather. Now you could do this with more pieces. I have two pieces that are probably 9 to 10 inch or 9 to 10 ounce leather, and the two thicknesses added together allow this to clear this blade. It's about the same thickness as this guard here width. So that's why I've chosen that thickness. You could do this with thinner pieces of leather, just more layers. So the next step is to kind of taper this down. I've got this skiving tool to shave the leather off, and I will do this until I get it tapered down to the shape I want. So I'll go off camera and do the rest of this and taper it down. I just wanted to show you this tool too. It's basically just a razor blade in here, and it's slightly curved, and you can pull it across the leather to shave off a little bit at a time. So I'll go ahead and taper this one down. I'll actually taper both of these down so they'll stack up and be one smooth piece that tapers down once it's finished. And I'll come back. I took a breather here. I've tapered this one down, as you can see. This one's not done yet. I think I'm going to glue these together. And once I do that, I'll continue and taper this second one down so it's one long kind of wedge shaped piece. I've glued these two pieces together, and if you look at this, it's going to fit on here like this, and it's slightly wider than this back piece. So once I glue it on, I'll trim this excess off so it'll give a nice even match to this width. So right now it's the small piece has been tapered, but this larger piece now needs to be tapered, continuing this wedge shape all the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and start using this skiving tool to cut this down. So I'll continue that and finish off this piece and then come back. This spacer piece now is finished. I've skived it down so it's this wedge shape, and it's going to end up gluing on to here. So the first thing I was doing is I was roughing up this leather so that the glue will stick better. So I've got a little bit more of this to do, and it's almost ready to glue. Okay, I'll keep pressing this down until it's dry and then come back. This piece has been glued on here now. I'm going to trim off this edge because I made it a little bit wider. Just wanted to show you. You know, fits pretty good as far as spacing the guard away from this back piece. Let's go ahead and trim this piece off here. Give you an idea what that looks like. So I'll still have to stain this. I think I'll trim up this edge just a little bit too. And I think the next thing is to make the two spacer strips. I may end up redoing my template a little bit to fit the knife a little bit better, but I'm ready to start that next, I think. I've cut a piece of leather that I'm going to make these two pieces for the spacer on the edge, just to give you an idea. It fits something like this. And remember, early on I talked about the little slot at the bottom in case water gets in here, it can drain. The knife will fit in here like this, so it looks like it's a pretty good fit. So I'll go ahead and cut these pieces out of this piece of leather, and I'll just trace around this and cut it with that razor knife. Okay, there's the two pieces. I'll glue on something like that. I've traced out where these pieces are going to fit on here, and this leather's a little smooth on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and scuff it up with this awl so that the glue will stick good. The two spacers are glued on now, just to give you an idea. how that fits. Now I need to trim off these two pieces because I left them a little bit long. Okay, and the knife, it's a pretty good fit. Remember the little slot down here. So the only thing left leather wise is the faceplate and the little piece for the strap stud, and then the little strap that'll come over. I'm ready to cut out the front panel. So here's my cardboard template, and I cut a piece of leather. It's about the right size, so I will go ahead and trace this out. And cut it off. And I'm back to the 5 to 6 ounce leather thickness. Okay, cut that out then. Okay, there's the front panel leather. And I will, I'm going to set this on here about the right size and then try to trim it to the exact size before I end up gluing it on, because I want to be able to tool it around the edges. I trimmed the front panel to pretty much the exact size that it's going to be once it's glued on. And the reason I did that is because I want to make this border, and I want the border to be even. If I made it large and tried to keep this border and then cut it off, it would be narrow on the parts that I cut off. So if you look at this border here, I just kind of marked out about how wide it is, and I'm going to then trace a line with this on this piece of leather. Just kind of give me a reference point where that black border is going to be. You can see that. So that'll give me a point to start my tooling.